Before you opened this business, did you run any business or this is the first business you have got into?
I started a business which was a big fail.
Let's say if you decided to go aggressively on that, the finance required for that, how would you manage that then? What's the interview process before hiring them?
So, where this AI, the artificial intelligence came from. So it's
any other particular business, what is the key thing they can integrate to manage the business well?
Everyone is talking about creating more job opportunities for everyone. And when someone is creating job opportunities and they're paying more than a certain threshold, government is taxing you more than other businesses.
What do you think people misunderstood about the business side of education that you guys end up making over $1 million in revenue, which is actually a great plan B, I would say?
Exactly. I'm a big believer in hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Do you think we are heading towards the workforce crisis?
And Andela committed to invest 25 billion in Australia.
Mm-hmm. What do you think they can start in today's day? Under 100,000? Welcome back to Real Talks with Rohit Jaichand, where we bring real conversations with founder, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. Today's guest is Shubhneet Tyagi, also known as Sam Tyagi, founder and CEO of Australian Institute of Engineering, generating 7 figures in annual revenue. In this episode, we talk about AI, future of jobs, skill shortage, and business growth, and what it really takes to build a scalable business in this changing world. Let's get into it. Welcome, Sam, at Real Talks with Rohit Jaichand, and thank you so much for giving us a time to give us an insight about your business, as this is our first education institute we're going to discuss about. Sam, before even we talk about AI or your business insights, please take us back to the beginning. What actually brought you into the education and training industry?
First of all, thank you so much, Rohit, for having me. I never planned it this way, actually.
Okay.
So I was in a quality role. I used to work as a quality assurance officer for an engineering company, GB Galvanizing.
Mm-hmm.
In that particular role, I used to improve processes, train people for my benefit. Because in quality, everything boils down to that you need to correct all the processes to make your job a lot more easier. So, in doing that, I used to train in-house apprentices and some other staff members.
Okay.
For those processes, obviously.
Interesting.
And then by doing that, I came to know that this is a pathway how I can transfer my existing skills, which I have learned throughout my life, and still be aligned with my engineering, and then still transfer my skills to education pretty much. So started doing some part-time work with Galvanovan Institute of TAFE. So it's at Go TAFE. That's how I started my journey pretty much. And then that part-time became full-time, and then here we are today.
So while, as you mentioned with the Galvan, you started your journey in education field. And before education field, I believe you were in engineering. You have done your studies in engineering, or which particular field you studied?
So I have particularly studied metallurgy. So metallurgy is an system concern field of mechanical.
Okay.
So people usually know mechanical. So mechanical is a vast, when we talk about engineering, it's a really vast subject. There are different streams in engineering. If I say I'm a metallurgist. So it studies of metals.
Right.
So metallurgy is all about extracting ores and shaping them for the use of mankind. So that's the definition of metallurgy.
And at what point actually you realized this isn't just teaching anymore, it becomes a real scalable business?
All right. So back in, I think it was nearly after I got married in 2013, that was a turning point because my partner comes from educational background. So she used to be a professor back home in India. And when I used to come and share my problems with her, that this is what I'm facing here. Like I want to do these sort of things, but just because of bureaucratic issues or I never used to accomplish my dream of how I wanted to train people. Then we decided one day that, look, I think if we look into starting our own thing, it might help us achieving what we want to do, and at the same time we can convert that into a business opportunity. And definitely there was a big gap in the market which we identified at that time, and we took on that opportunity pretty much.
It's actually a great start, then I would say. And when you actually end up deciding, okay, let's start our own thing, our own institute where you can teach people according the way you want to teach, I would say. So any challenges you have faced while setting up this particular business?
So Rohit, if I want to take you back to that journey, as I said, I got married in 2013. We established Australian Institute of Engineering in 2016.
2016. So it took almost 3 years.
3 years. So in that 3 years, we, I believe in just doing actionable things. So what we did, we started teaching non-accredited courses.
Oh, gotcha.
So what we did, I reached out to industry and said, look, Rohit, if you want me to train your people, I can come and train you. And employer were really happy because at the time they didn't just wanted a piece of paper. They want someone who can run those machines.
Yeah.
So I started teaching them non-accredited courses, and that's how we started. So in those 3 years, we built relationships with industry. We identified in which area of engineering we have to go, where we need to which courses we need to offer and all that. And so journey started in 2016, pretty much.
Right. So before that, it's more as you mentioned, non-accredited courses you were teaching. And in 2016, you end up setting up as a proper college.
Yeah. So 2016, we registered the company. And then we prepared everything. It's a really long process, really document heavy process. As you know, the compliance in this industry is quite heavy. So it took us in 2017, we had our initial audit, and we got our licenses in March 2018.
2018. So it took 2 years to finally get the licenses in your hand. Yeah. That's actually definitely more documentation is required on that kind of business. Definitely. And any particular challenge that you still remember till today that you face in that 2 years of period before you finally had the certifications in your hand?
I would say many, but the one which we still remember is just navigating through the processes. Mm-hmm. Because we originally applied to get an RTO license and CRICOS license at the same time. So CRICOS is to teach international students. Yeah. And as you know, someone is coming from teaching and would like to establish a business in education field. So developing all the resources. So we wrote all the resources. And they were it was hardly anyone who we could have reached out to get some extra help. I mean, everything boils down to if you want to spend money, you can get those sort of helps. But at that time, that was one of the restriction. That was the constraint, I would say, we had. So that I think navigating through the processes was one of the biggest challenges at that time.
So with these kind of constraints, does it normal in your industry, or it's just as a migrant, you are trying to set up a business and it's just the challenges you face as a migrant, or it's in general?
So with any business, or if we talk generally, if you have money, you can buy any business.
100%.
Or if you want to set up a business, you have people who can able to help. So you can just pay those experts. They can come and help you in each and every area. Yeah. When we started, as I said, I'm coming from we call our medium class families, like, my dad used to serve army, so we didn't had that much money which we originally had when we came here. So we poured all our hard earned money into this whole dream. So we at the time we tried to wanted to become expert in those fields. Like if it comes to learning accounting, we used to learn accounting. If it's instructional designing, like how to write resources, we done that. So we did everything by ourselves pretty much with minimal help.
As we are talking about numbers, if you don't mind, can you take us through rough numbers, like how much you end up spending before even you become operational?
I would say easily $200,000.
Okay.
Just to get licenses.
So after that, the setup cost is separate.
Oh, that's completely separate. So set up this.
What numbers we are looking at?
So Rohit, like if I talk about ourselves again, like I've been worked around in industry. Like I have seen people who are teaching. Like you can teach in a classroom. You can teach like what we are teaching in 4,000 square meter campus, and the machinery we have invested in and everything. I think it's close to $500,000 which we have invested.
Spending in that.
Only for this facility, my electrician cost were nearly $40,000 just for wiring.
And that is in 2018-19, I would
2018, yes. Yeah. So, and again, that's only that part. But after that, I think we might have spent nearly over $100,000 just in electrical works.
As I was doing a bit of R&D on your institute, where we stand with revenue-wise and all that kind of stuff. So most people like usually don't expect education institute to doing over $1 million in revenue every year. So what do you think people misunderstood about the business side of the education?
I think the one of the biggest thing, Rohit, in that is like if you have the right intent and you can create a differentiator, and that to any business, I think you can capture the market and the market share. So when we decided originally to start a college, we said to ourselves that, look, we just don't want to be another RTO, which people just look at, that's another RTO came to the market. So when we started, we started with a differentiator. We thought to ourselves to compete with TAFEs, which have bigger facilities. Like at that time, people used to talk about robotic arms, CNCs, and we had those pieces of
2019.
No, I mean, yes. Since then, we started developing those sort of capabilities within us. In 2018, yes, all the machineries we had came from Australian suppliers. They were industry above industry average machineries we had. So again, like all these things create a differentiator. So now I would say that if you entering into any sort of business and if you identify that what differentiator you can create within that market, I think people will look at you from a different point of view, and you might get some good business out of that. So
the day you guys started, so far, the improvements you have done. So how that is actually adding a value to the people who are coming here to learn? Basically, when we are talking about differentiator, like what extra kids are learning here instead of going to any other particular institute?
Look, we've always been adaptive. So you always have to scan what's coming next. We serve on a lot of committees, like in myself and all the executive team members we serve on different committees. We see what's coming, what industry wants. So the real difference is, I can tell you now, like if we want to go to nitty-gritty of this engineering trade education, most of the RTOs, they might be only offering 1 or 2 qualifications. We are offering from certificate to till graduate diploma. So we're just completing the whole loop of engineering trades. And not only that, incorporating those units which RTOs are afraid to even touch. when I say those sort of units, is CNC programming, design robotic systems, design PLC programs, and all that. So if you look at the other providers, when we talk about competition, that's where we surpass those sort of providers. So if someone want to learn what's happening in industry today, they come here, they look at the facilities, and they just be amazed.
So basically, that's the biggest differentiator, I would say, that you guys end up making over $1 million in revenue and helping the new generation to serving the market well.
Absolutely.
I would say. And in that whole process, anything that in your mind that I would say the biggest risk you guys have taken and which actually changed the whole journey of yours in a good way?
So that's, if I talk about the risk, and that investing in facility was one of the biggest risks we have taken.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, we wasn't sure about numbers. Like, we wasn't sure how successful we will be, but definitely we had, our commitments and aspirations that what we want to achieve, where we want to go. But I mean, all of the sudden, sometime, we used to think, have we done the right thing? Are we on the right track by investing that much while people can start an RTO in $50,000? So, but look, it ended up changing everything. That's what I said. Now today, when I look back, I can relate. I can connect the dots. That yes, I think that was the biggest risk we have taken, but that risk proven out to be our biggest advantage, even today.
And say, while you were deciding, okay, this is the risk we need to take, ever in your mind that thought have crossed that might not work?
I would say no. The reason being because I'm a big believer in hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So I thought that
which is actually a great idea.
If this thing won't work, I will start taking some contracts from industry and start manufacturing in this facility.
Which is actually a great plan B, I would say.
Exactly.
So if not this and that'll work.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, I would say, like even when I'm planning anything, I'm pretty much think the same way.
Yes.
Right. Plan A well. If that doesn't work, you should have a plan B. And even though I would say that particular thing I have learned in Australia.
Yes.
Like over the period of 17, 18 years in Australia. So I used to be, okay, this is the plan A. I want to achieve that by all means, right? And but over the period of time, I would say God have taught me, or industry and even the environment, there are so many factors in that actually end up teaching me, okay, now you should have a plan B always. If A doesn't work, where do you gonna go?
Absolutely.
So if you don't have a plan B, you got stuck.
Yeah.
So that pretty much same thing you are saying, like that help you in a way. You have prepared for plan A. For worst plan, you have the manufacturing. Okay, if that doesn't work, let's move on to the manufacturing, which is actually a great idea. Now, let's talk about Institute is open, right? And you're ready to serve the market. How did you get your first student, or when the business was still unknown? How did you get the first customer or student?
So when we started, we nearly had no competition.
Okay.
Nearly, I can say there was only one RTO
right.
when we started. And again, we don't want to name any particular RTOs. But as I said, when we started with that sort of key differentiator in the market, and at that time, engineering and people usually our education agents, they call this trade as welding trade or machinist. They don't call as a fabrication trade, even though it's
that's what I actually studied personally as engineering in fabrication.
So it's Rohit, it's a vast field. It's not only constrained to welding. So welding is only a part of this whole qualification, but definitely people are getting some migration pathways through this. So they call this as an occupation. They started classifying this whole qualification as welding qualification. But anyway, so when we started with Certificate 3, Certificate 4, Certificate 3 in fabrication, Certificate 3 in mechanical, Cert 4 in engineering, and diploma in engineering, advanced trade.
Gotcha.
So at the time, no one were offering diploma of engineering, advanced trade in Victoria.
Okay.
And so we just had to do a bit of a marketing, which we connected with the right people, some education agents, and even I think direct word of mouth publicity were there, and we started getting some numbers.
So while as you mentioned about the marketing and getting to the right agents and all, what do you think? What was the strategy you guys have planned for the growth that actually help your business scale fastest as comparatively like the institute you have in competition?
So because our institute have few verticals. So we're not only capturing international students, so our business is not solely dependent on international students.
Right.
So we have 4 state funding contracts. We have short courses. As I said, we have we have Micro Skills Academy, which we provide micro skills and micro credentials. So different verticals have different strategies how we wanted to scale. So when we started initially, we started with international, obviously. So education agents were one of those people, students believe them rather than anyone else. So our strategy was that to reach out to them, letting them know that, look, there's another option available now for you guys, and what we have, how we intend to train people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was our strategy when we started.
While we are talking about the strategy to scale faster, so what do you think that people can take away from particularly for this point that can apply in any kind of business that can work? Definitely, according to business, things might change, approach might change, like your approach was to approaching international students to start with.
I would say, Rohit, that it's, I think the visibility has to be there. People should know that you exist. Even though you're serving world's best service, world's best product. Mm-hmm. And if people are not aware of that, I think you are losing a bigger segment of that market pretty much. So if you want to scale any business, regardless, it's us, we always focused on branding, putting our name in the right places where people know us. We involved in industry associations. We took part in industry talks. We've been on presenting to different employer cohorts and all that. So, I mean, once you show that you exist, people automatically start recognizing that, yes, that there's someone exists who can serve my needs, whether it's they're getting some services from you or getting a product from you.
So basically what my understanding becoming from this is, doesn't matter which business you are in. So branding is, I would say, the first step you should work on. Basically, how your identity going to look into the market. And then the second part would be the marketing your brand at the right place, right time, sort of.
Certainly, because and another point, Rohit, when we and this is what we have very fundamentally right from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. When we were deciding the name for the RTO, people were saying, I had a few friends, like I said, this is the name which we finalized, and they said, look, I think it's very, very narrow. You won't be able to enter into another markets. Like if you want to start health science tomorrow. I said, why I would start health science? What if you want to start cookery tomorrow? I said, why would I start cookery? I said, no, that's how business works. Then we sat down and we thought, is it? Then look, we said, I think we decided that we just want to serve one stream. We want to build a brand around, if people will talk about engineering, they should talk about us. They should know, if you want to do engineering and anything to do in engineering, they should come to us.
So that's actually, I would say, one of the good decisions you might have taken, particularly sticking to one niche and just focusing on specializing in that particular field that actually brought you, I would say, where you are right now. the next question I would like to raise up here is basically once you came into the seven figures, so as an operational point of view, what are the challenges you have faced once you touch the seven figures as an education institute?
Look, in any business, there will be challenges.
100%.
And as you grow and you scale, definitely challenges do comes. With us, like when we started hitting those sort of numbers and we started expanding, since we started expanding in different states, that was one of the biggest challenges we had. That, like, how we will capture that. Like, we need to have the right trainers. We have to have the right program heads. We have to have the right people who can help us in the whole journey. So I would say one of the biggest challenges to find the right people.
So when you plan to expand in different cities and different states, what's the interview process before hiring them?
So our process is pretty straightforward, and this is industry standard, and we kept it the TAFE way.
Okay.
So when I'm talking about particularly for trainer assessors, not for the other staff members. So it's the trainer assessors, when they come here and I say, okay, what do you want to teach? And they say, okay, I want to teach fabrication, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay, what you been doing? I just completed my certificate 3. And I just want to become a trainer. I got my TAE certificate.
Right.
All right. I mean, what you have so you can teach? Nothing. I just studied. So those sort of candidates are filtered out. We never interviewed those sort of candidates. The reason being that definitely, as you can understand, if I call myself that I can teach something, I should know that thing in and out. Even up to an extent that I can able to demonstrate skills and knowledge to someone else.
Very true.
So what happened? So one of the processes were that definitely they have to demonstrate the industry currency. In our language, we say that they have to be they've been working in that particular field, or they are working in that particular field. So that was one of the biggest criteria, alongside with regulatory requirement like TAE certificates. They have to have the right licenses and all that. But if they've been working and if they have demonstrated that they've been in the system for a while and what they've been teaching, half of the things will disappear anyway, like from the whole process.
Right. Let's talk about the admin staff or any other staff apart from the trainer. Any particular thing you look before hiring anyone in your business?
One of the biggest thing, because myself and Trapti, we both take final interviews. So we wanted to keep our culture pretty much unknitted in a way that everyone should be part of the team. So one of the biggest thing for us is that you can teach anyone any skills, but you can't teach so many attributes. When you're working in team, look, there are so many things which you need to be aware of. Like, because we are in international market, like there are people from different backgrounds, so they should be respectful towards that. So, I mean, a team player would be, I say, our first tick box that a person should have.
Okay.
Like when it comes to hiring anyone in any domain.
Any other particular trait you look in?
The person have to be come with an integrity. When I say integrity, integrity is something you would do when no one is looking, no one watching you. So we never micromanage people up here. They are responsible for their own area. So and to just give an example, that in RTO, people usually hire someone who can look after compliance.
Okay.
Till date, we don't have a dedicated compliance manager. We don't have that position in our RTO. It's very surprising. And why? Because compliance is not something which handled by one person. It is something an individual owns in their own work, pretty much. So
basically, in their particular domain, whatever they are, for example, accounts department or different departments, they have their own compliance. So you
100%.
basically want everybody to focus on their compliance while they're working what they're working on, which is actually a great idea, I would say. Instead of putting the whole compliance onto one person,
Exactly.
it's spreading every department's compliance to them, which is actually
Not
good.
even divide, like even Rohit, like they take full responsibility for their
Yeah.
own work. So if my trainer assesses, they absolutely know what are the rules of evidences, what are the principle of assessments are. So when they are conducting any training or any assessments, these people are fulfilling the requirements rather than one person telling them what to do.
While maintaining these compliance and keeping every department in a shape, so what do you think is more harder, delivering a quality education or managing the business behind the scene?
It's managing the business behind the scenes, because if you get that right, everything is right. You can able to deliver quality education. You can able to deliver revenue. You can able to deliver. What is being expected out of a training organization. So when I said that this particular thing about compliance, similarly we have made processes. So if you focus on business side of things, if you get those ones right, I think the rest of the things will fall in place. This is again like our philosophy when we started.
Let's say it's not an education institute. Any other particular business, what is the key thing they can integrate to manage the business well, so they don't have to focus on maintaining the quality? It'll be automatically maintained because they have focused on setting up a business right.
So if we take an example, Rohit, like, I can think of a restaurant, for example.
Yep.
So if you focus on the business side of things, so business side of things, when you say, is hiring the right chefs.
True.
Designing the right menu for your cohort, where you're operating, coming up with the right costings. Now, how your customer greets everyone, whoever walks into that door. Have you done that sort of training? We go to many businesses. Have you seen someone who comes and asks you, okay, sir, what you would like? Thanks for coming here. It's lovely to see you.
Usually not.
Exactly.
Usually
So
not.
these are some of the fundamentals I think you should be going through, incorporating in your business practices. Yeah. So if you get those ones right, everything like, customer experience would be great. From the if we talk about like when they just walked in from the door, like someone smiling at them and saying, welcome, how's your day been? Thanks for coming. Like, and then when they sat down, they can see a menu, which they expect from, if you walk into a Italian restaurant, you should be able to see the authenticity of that Italian menu. So if you see that, and then the food gets served in a nice way and flavorful way, I would say most of the things are being ticked off. So I think if you manage your business well in that sense, I think everything should fall in place.
What my understanding is, doesn't matter which business is it. So from the starting, if you have set the process right,
yes,
you won't have to be focusing on the quality at all.
100%.
Because the process has been made and you are just making sure whatever the process you have made, it's been followed well.
Followed. That's it.
So it will bring everything in line automatically.
100%.
So what leadership lesson did you learn while growing your team and operations?
One of the biggest challenge, and I think I have slowly overcame this personal challenge, is that I used to think that if I'm doing this job, I'm doing it perfectly.
Yeah,
I never used to trust people. When it comes to delegating some work, as you know, like, when we started this, we started in 2-person's team. So you wear so many hats, like, you one day you're doing accounting, another day you will be doing marketing, you will be teaching students, you will be handling your stakeholder meetings and everything. So, but then when it comes to, all right, now you grew up to this level, now you need to start delegating. So I had an accounting person who started with us, and I used to always think whether she's doing right. So we did. I mean, from the business point of view, I used to run few audits But then after I knew that, look, I think this is all work. And that was the point when we thought that instead of facing the fear that no one else can do better than you, and running audits, we thought, look, let's make SOPs for each and every role, pretty much where they know what they need to do. And then if they're following that, you just need to make sure that these people are just following the SOPs and should be fine.
Perfect. I would say that thing is not just with you, I would say. It's pretty much happens with every business owner, because when you're building your business brick by brick, you have put your hard-earned money, your time, and mental stress you go through.
True.
Which is the great thing that you have overcome that, because I would say that's where you start growing, when you overcome that kind of fears and start delegating your work instead of spending whole time on your own on every single particular thing. Let's say if you have to rebuild the business from zero today, what would you think you would do differently, what you have done so far?
I would go more aggressively.
From day one?
From day one.
Okay.
It's it sounds counterintuitive when you think from a business challenges point of view, but now I have understood that so many things we put on back burners a lot, that look, this business opportunity came, let's wait for the right time, let's find the right person, even though those things are important, but you could have taken another step in that time. Sitting idle and waiting for everything to be in line sometimes kills the opportunity, sometimes kills the idea.
Right.
I would go more aggressively if I would be given another chance, like starting from zero.
Let's say if you decided to go aggressively on that, the finance required for that, how would you manage that then? You don't have, for example, let's say you said you have spent $500,000 while setting up the business, and apart from licensing and all that, around $1 million, I would say, round figure, you have spent $1 million. You just have $500,000, but you want to go more aggressively. How are you going to manage that?
With the wisdom we have gained, I think that plays a very important role. If it was me back then, who can start with 500, taking loans and start with 500, and today who I am, I think I can able to, now I have understood that money is not a problem. If you got the right idea in today's world, that's not a problem. Even with banks, you reach out to banks. You want to have very, very simple example. You want to get a car loan on ABN. What documents do you need? Just your driver license.
Not really much, I would say.
If it's 3 months old business, you don't even need that. Many lenders, they just you send your driver license, they run the credit checks, and you will get the car loan.
But depending upon the loan size you want to have it,
up to $100,000.
Up to $100,000. So what do you think? Let's say somebody has $100,000. What do you think they can start in today's day under $100,000?
If you want that money worth, that money should give you some sort of return, or it will give thoughtfulness in what you want to do. I think you should still follow your skill set to be a bit on a safer side, or you want to develop a skill set in the business you want to do.
Depending on person to person.
Person to person, yeah. But if you would like to if you have 100K and if you want to start nowadays, even starting small, like you can buy a fleet, you can give it to for rent. There are Airbnbs, people do hire a lot of these apartments in city, and they manage that.
Yep. Let's say you have $100,000 right now. Which three would you pick, or out of the top three, which one would you pick?
First of all, if I have 100K, I would pick,
Definitely not the education business.
not the education.
Apart from that,
I would say a trading. When I say trading, it's not share trading or crypto trading or something like that. Physical trading, commodity trading, in which definitely there are so many things you can buy from one marketplace and can sell onto another marketplace.
Okay.
And when we say this, there are so many. Again, in that it's a vast market.
Definitely.
But what I would say is that nowadays, I don't know whether you're familiar with those container houses, container homes.
Yeah, I have seen that.
So you can
Places.
Yeah, and there's one place in on Sydney Road which these people are selling. So they're getting nearly $20,000 USD. So around here.
So
arriving cost 50,
35, 40.
Even like transportation would be 50K.
Yeah.
And they are selling that 100K.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like if you get that sort of money, you can look at those sort of trading opportunities where you can, and it's a demand. The demand is there. If you put up order today with that person, you might not be able to see that container home or house for another 3 to 4 months.
Usually take that much time.
Yes. Second business I would say is Airbnb, having few apartments on rent and then putting them on Airbnb and earning money that way. Because again, one apartment, you might get 4 apartment, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom apartments for lease.
Yeah.
And
for a year.
Even though you don't have to pay everything upfront, so that money still be in your bank account and still started generating some income out of that.
So pretty much in these days, everybody is talking about AI, LLMs, setting up particular agents to do the particular job you want to get it done. So realistically, which job do you think are the most at risk over the next 5 years because of AI?
I won't say even 5 years, Rohit. In another couple of years, the way it's been progressing, most of the things which are getting done by human without critical thinking, which is something, if we just take out the critical thinking out of that task, and if it's getting done on a computer, it can be done. As simple as that. So, where this AI, the artificial intelligence came from. So it's 1956. John McCarthy was the first person who named this term, artificial intelligence.
Yep.
Even from that point onwards, everyone came to know about AI through LLMs. True. LLMs is one form of AI. But definitely it's been around from that era, like 1956, and we have seen it's always been there. But the pace, it's evolving and it's coming to everyone's hand. I think it's in another 2 years' time more, and you can see around, like Telstra have slashed so many jobs. Like you look around, there are so many companies are taking big decisions based on that, and there are some job creations as well at the same time. But
100%. Name any big company.
Yep,
they are transferring time-consuming skills to AI to decrease the time and making it more efficient. I believe even in your industry, it has changing things so drastically. And do you think it is going to disrupt any particular industry or pretty much every industry? What's your thought on that?
Look, tradespeople will be immune because still things needs to be done.
100%.
And AI, or until someone can integrate that AI into physical world, it's not possible. That will be that. Look, that is coming, but we're still talking about another 10 years.
So do you think as a normal person, like who is not doing a business, right, in general life, they are underestimating AI's work or the speed?
Look, when anything is changing, like when the computer era came, like, it definitely made a huge difference in businesses, but at the individual lives, it changed as well. Like, and then the internet came. So, and then, social media, at the time Orkut started. You must have heard that. So
I remember using that.
So we don't want to tell our ages, but you can, it's a form of social media. So definitely it changed everyone's life. And if we talk about this AI revolution, certainly to know what's happening, I'm not saying like, if someone is not reading about AI every day, they are losing on something, even though, like, it depends what you're doing and to what extent you want to go for. But definitely it's good to know, to be honest with you. It's like at an individual level, even though if you're not running a business, if you're just a household mom, it's good to know what's coming, which will help you.
Yeah. If you don't want to use it, I would say you don't restrict yourself knowing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with your point up here. And what do you think, like, while we are discussing about education institute and education business, I would say, for example, whatever they are learning right now, what do you think will completely become outdated in near future?
Oh, it's a great question. Outdated. If I want to look at this, like, I want to ask you a question, Rohit, that has books become outdated in today's world?
Yes and no, I would say.
Yes.
There is no clear answer on this one.
Yeah. Similarly, I mean, again, we are in vocational sector.
Yeah.
So vocational sector is still, say, 70% hands-on teaching. So there's very less which will be outdated. What definitely the transformation will be there, and it is already started happening. So we have manual lathes and manual milling machines. Now, why we are need to teach CNC programming? Because a lot of industry have started adapting CNC machines, CNC lathes, CNC milling machines. So definitely that particular the manual teachings, like, fundamentals still be the same. You still need to teach those fundamentals, but do you need to train someone on manual machines? Might not be in near future.
Right.
So those things might be definitely they are transforming.
So let's talk about, apart from fabrication department or fabrication industry. Let's say somebody is learning management or doing MBA.
Yes.
Any management kind of work. Do you think the certification will be relevant in near future, or who know how to use AI in any manner, right? He can actually learn pretty much everything on ChatGPT or Claude or any particular platform they want to use. So pretty much every platform has a part where you can tell him, okay, I want to learn this particular thing. Teach me as you are a teacher or as you are an educator.
No, I agree, Rohit. So eventually it won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Australia, because if you see, people don't look at your qualifications, they look at what skills you have. So when we're talking about management or those sort of business related courses, again, critical thinking and human interface, like how you present yourself, or if you're going to talk to a client, how would you convince the client? What sort of strategies you can implement? Now, learning about those strategies, not necessarily you need an MBA, not necessarily you need a BBA. You can learn everything from that, but how to develop those sort of skills within you, so they can still learn from that. They don't need any certifications. But similarly, like when we talk about India, China, Philippines, our Southeast Asian markets, they are very heavily, I won't say dependent, but they take pride in showing that, look, this is the qualification I have, rather than when it comes to skills, definitely these people will have skills, but in terms of are you happy to learn everything from AI?
But even let's say I agree with you at one point, most businesses up here, they don't look at your education. But if you have to go for any big companies, or I would say 7-figure plus companies, it'll be a main criteria. Okay, you have a bachelor's of so and so. For example, fabrication industry, right? If you are going for one of the good positions, right, applying for it, it'll definitely says there you must have bachelor's of fabrications or bachelor's of so and so education, depending upon the field you are applying for. So if you don't have that, you can't apply that job.
100%.
Right. So that kind of point, do you think it'll stay like this in near future, or we might see changes in that people say, okay, you show your skills in that particular field and then we'll judge you in the interview, sort of thing?
I think AI will play its role in education, but totally removing qualifications when it comes to learning, demonstrating your skills and knowledge in a particular formal way, these certifications or qualifications still be there. But when it comes to learning particular skill sets or something which I don't need a certificate for, now sky is the limit. You can learn anything. But definitely, I think I don't see anywhere that it will be going anywhere in terms of when it comes to removing qualification. There won't be any relevance to the qualifications in near future.
Okay. So, for an example, if anyone today, any student or a normal person ask you a question and say, what should I learn that'll be valuable in future? What would you say for that?
Look, I've been asked this question a lot, and it depends on the industry. But if I want to pick some industries that first of all, if you want to do engineering, so take engineering, but do a vocational part with that. So you will be immune by, if you're learning how to design a concept. Now, there may be well and truly be a chances that in near future, there will be some AI assisted designing platforms where you can able to design. Then what is your relevance became? Then if you know after the processes you can do afterwards, you still be employed, you still be having jobs, so you still be creating some value for that company or for yourself. When it comes to other industries like healthcare, it's not going to go anywhere. Even IT sector like cloud cybersecurity is one of the hot topics, and it
at this stage,
and keep on increasing. It's not going to come down.
It's going to, especially with this AI came in. I would say that's going to become more demanding sector.
Absolutely. So if someone asks me that I want to do something in IT field, I will direct them to do. I'll say, look, do something in cybersecurity or data center engineers, machine learning, ML engineers, like machine learning engineers. So these are some of the things which will take shape. And when someone asks, okay, I want to do something in health science, go for it. You want to become a nurse, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a dentist, you want to become in any domain, it's not going to go anywhere.
What do you think, especially not in general fabrication universities, right? Any universities, are they moving fast enough to keep up the speed with AI workflows or revolution?
No, absolutely not. And this is one of the biggest fear we have. So, at the moment, one of the biggest challenges is to assess whether this is students' own work or not. When it comes to submitting reports, whether it is to do with submitting, making presentations and all that. So definitely we as an education provider and educators need to adapt to that. So what we started doing is that before, a student used to submit the report. As an assessor, I used to assess that report against the assessment criteria, and I used to deem student either competent or not yet competent.
Yeah.
Now, what we started doing is that, is this your report? Yes, you need to present this report to us. Whether you have understood this report.
Okay.
You need to demonstrate your findings. You need to demonstrate your underpinning knowledge, which you have gained when you made this particular report.
While making this assessment. Fair enough.
But this is one of the biggest challenge. We're not keeping up, and there've been talks like people are saying that they want to restrict use of AI when it comes to university or colleges. But I see that as running away from problem, not facing the problem.
Agree.
You can't take AI from, like, when we say AI, like mostly we're talking about LLMs here. So you can't take LLMs nowadays. Like everyone must have 2 to 3 apps in their phone at least, or if not more.
Easy.
So again, this is one of the biggest challenges I think we are facing as an education industry.
While talking like, as we can't definitely remove it, do you think apart from like using AI just to create assessments and that kind of stuff, will we see AI use in robotic machines, as in for welding and all that kind of fabrication stuff?
Yes.
In your industry?
Yes.
Or you have started seeing it already?
So we have already started saying, I have another company called the Robot Doctor. So we do industrial automation. So before to write a path, when I say write a path, means like from point A to point B, I need this much weldment. So I used to do touch points. But now with this AI models, we can present the path part to them, and they can decide the path. They can even decide where they can start, where they can end, as per the WPS requirements, weld procedure sheets requirements. So this is already started happening now.
So the changes you guys have already started making in that particular stuff.
Yes.
And what do you think, like, this question pretty much, I would say I've been asked a few times from my clients, in particular sector or in general, AI will be creating more opportunities or problem. And do you think we are heading towards the workforce crisis?
I'm pretty sure you must have heard when Satya Nadella came in April last month. So he committed to invest 25 billion in Australia in coming years, and he committed to train 3 million Australians till 2028. While we can see some job slashes from few sectors, at the same time there are opportunities and there will be some more job creations in this field. So we need to create 29 new data centers out of that 25 billion. Just translate those 29 data centers into the workforce we need in able to make those data centers. Whether it is physical infrastructure, whether it is IT structure, whether it is you just name it, whatever you need in data center, you need those sort of people. So there will be more job creations will be there, definitely. And there will be some, vice versa, there will be some job slashes.
Definitely. The pros and cons always come together for
100%.
any particular thing. After this funding, for example, once they started training people for AI infrastructures and that kind of stuff. Do you think Australia in next decade, possibly, or maybe next 5 years, will have shortage in any particular category of jobs?
Look, in Australia, there's always been skill shortages, Rohit, and I'm not sure. The more we listen to the government agendas and that, the more puzzled I became like, I mean, I don't know what they think. And again, it is my personal view. I'm not taking any. It's not the view of our institute or anyone's. It's just my personal view that again, I think we are running away from the problem. We need more people, and in future there will be more shortages. And this is what I'm not saying that this is in reports. That in coming, so at the moment, for example, we need 100,000 welders. Again, I'm just taking
just rough numbers. We are talking about
rough numbers, and we getting 20,000 welders.
Okay.
Now, this demand with the current infrastructure we need, it's not getting met. Okay. Now, what we are doing, we just again, we with this new policies, we trying to restrict people to come here or probably to migrate or but internally as well, we don't have enough people who can be trained for those jobs.
Right.
So again, it's like I must have comprehended what they are thinking. So these are the people who been sitting there and thinking for us, for the whole country. So I mean, I could be wrong, 100%. Like they must have plans in place.
Yeah. And even though if we talk about the young generation these days, especially with AI technology came in place, right? Everybody is looking towards the business that they don't have to leave their house. They can do it from their house. Definitely AI is helping in that part. So, but even to generate that particular skill, you have to learn. And once you learn it, even, for example, if I'll talk about my industry, right? Before, the website used to take few days to make, right? Now, any person can jump online and they can build the website on their own. But at the same time, as a normal person, for example, I know the industry, I know as in particular website, what need to be done correctly. I can tell AI a lot better than a normal layman.
Yes.
Who just can tell, okay, I want to make, for example, welding trade website, make one for me.
Yes.
Right? AI will create whatever comes to, depending upon the model, whatever comes to its mind. But on the other side, like as an expert, right, I know in normal website, what minimum things you need to get your website SEO optimized or to get your website ranked in generative engine optimization, right? I can give input to AI on that particular topic. So
absolutely.
So at the end, like the time, definitely it helped in a way of I might can done same thing in 5 days.
Yep.
Right. But then the technical part come in that AI won't do it for you, because most of the companies we work with, not every company has adapted AI to go for the hosting process or to integrate any particular plugins into your website. That need to be done manually still. But I would say in near future that might change soon.
Well, and that's the thing, Rohit. That's what we're talking about, the critical thinking.
Yeah.
Because you are the one who providing that thought process for the business.
100%.
That this needs to be done this way. In able to be more effective, in able to be making a website which is future ready.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. So I mean that's still be there.
Where do you see the biggest opportunity for people who are willing to upskill quickly?
In which particular, are we talking about in particular area or in general?
We are talking in general. Like, what do you think? Where is the biggest opportunity? The person who is ready to upskill, either it's with AI or any field they are working.
Look, I think now this became very readily available to everyone. Like even when I started, so as you know, my trade being metallurgist, when COVID hit, we started this company. I used to spend a lot of time in this facility. I learned some robotics there. Now with this AI, every day is a new learning curve. you sit and you I already, we all use different platforms. So we started since I started using agentic AI, where I asked them, I made a code that I need AI updates to my mailbox every day 9 a.m. whatever happened in the world. So I get an email, Gemini did this, Kimi did this, Claude and Anthropic did this, OpenAI did this. And then it's up to me what I want to do with that information. If there's something which is really intriguing, which is going to help me personally and my business, I'll jump on it as a learning course for me today. I'll say, look, I need to learn this. Otherwise, look, as a business person, you always look for more opportunities, like how you can create better outcome for your community.
Yeah,
my community is my students, my colleagues, my industry I'm serving to. So if we can create something out of that, then it will be a win-win.
What's the biggest difference or biggest disconnect, I would say, from the classroom to the real world?
Look, every company is different. The way of working is different. So when it comes to students hitting the workforce, they may need to adapt to that particular company's operations. But when it comes to underlying skills and knowledge, which if they want to go in the same domain, then I don't think so there will be a big disconnect when it comes to vocational education. Now, what I have seen in past is that we all have done bachelor's and master's, so we know the analogy of how we have learned that. So when it comes to reading or knowing something theoretically, then there may be a bigger disconnect when you go and hit your workforce and say, look, this is now you need to give your inputs as an engineer in this design aspect. Now with this learning curves and how we are learning, it may be reduced if you are proactive.
Definitely, you need to be proactive. Pretty much, doesn't matter which industry you are
100%.
in. And what do you think, even having a good qualifications, why in these days, people are actually struggling to get the jobs? What could be the reason?
If we talk about Australian context, it's the industry-wide segment. There are so many uncertainties with the current, how everything is going with the interest rates and all that. So companies are hesitant of definitely putting more people. And I'm talking about in general. Okay, if we talk about different industries, then there are different parameters in those ones. Secondly is that when it comes to, again, Australian market is not that bigger of a market for if we talk about on a global scale. Like when we talk about any particular industry, we are very small there. But one of the biggest, I think, the challenge is that when we talk about now skill sets and knowledge, is that these students who are graduating from universities, these graduates might be having difficulty to finding a job because that might not be exactly relevant to their roles which they are looking for.
Okay.
I have seen people applying for 10 jobs, even though if they're not fulfilling the criteria of those particular skill sets.
That might be happening with you guys as well. If you are posting any job roles, you are getting applications which are definitely not relevant at all for that position.
Absolutely. It happened. I'm not sure whether that ad is still running. So we are looking for a sales and marketing manager, but we need educational experience.
Right.
So one of the biggest disconnect is that people are having marketing experience, but I don't have time to teach someone the standards of an RTO and what are the compliance requirements.
Sure.
As a marketing person, you can go out and sell anything, and I don't doubt their ability to do that. But when it comes to selling an educational product, there are some protocols what you can and how you can sell the product. You can't just
Definitely.
there are so many structured or paradigms within that.
So, that pretty much I would say happens with any industry, even like when we are planning any marketing campaigns or anything for particular business, it varies. Like, for example, as in education industry, you might have different restrictions. And for liquor industry, they have different restrictions. Every particular business have their different restrictions, especially when it comes to market that particular business to particular audience. So, what do you think? Like in today's world, will the practical knowledge of work is more valuable, or theoretical knowledge will be more valuable?
Practical knowledge any day, even not today. Like even I used to believe this from very beginning. I mean, when I say practical knowledge, I'm not talking about doing something by your hands. Practical knowledge is about executing any task without anyone's help.
Got your point, right?
So that's the practical knowledge.
Yeah. For example, what my understanding is becoming is, let's say, as we were discussing about the salesperson role you are looking for,
Yep.
the management or any particular or first manager to that particular person won't have to teach him or her, right, for that job that this is what you need to do. Even though I would say, I think I have seen this trend, especially in Australian industry. That's what we look when we're hiring anyone. Okay, I'm paying you, so I don't have to teach your job how you're going to do it.
Exactly.
So you should know what you need to do for fulfilling that particular job. But on the other side, like back in India when we were, right, over there, it's always like, doesn't matter which job it is, they'll hire you, and for 15 days to, let's say, a month, they'll teach you, okay, this is how we work.
Yes.
Even I remember, like when I was working in manager role in manufacturing industry, right, that's how I used to do it, right? Definitely, like if I'm hiring a welder or any particular person for a particular job, I want he should know how to work on that particular job. But at the same time, I always try to teach him the way company works.
Yes.
Instead of teaching him like how you need to work in that particular job.
Yep.
In a way,
Expectation.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, one of the biggest example which I give to people is your MBA. In your business plan, if you need your team's input and you're asking your operations manager to come and sit with you and say, look, can you help me with identifying these strategies, or can we work on these strategies? Having theoretical knowledge, definitely he might not know about those strategies, but if this person never worked in a business or never doesn't have any business experience, his inputs will be as good as I'm just reading a book and implementing on my own. When I say MBA, people, and that's the trend. And I had a big argument with my cousin in doing so. So he completed his year 12. He did his BCA and he did his MBA.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, why are you doing your MBA soon after you completed your BCA?
Right.
He said, just to get a job. I said, but Master of Business Administration, you calling yourself a master, and this education after completing MBA, and if you ask him today, what you utilize out of that whole qualification is nothing, like literally nothing, because he's and even though if you are using it, what I mean to say is that, for example, I have spent 10 years in business and now I'm doing something which will help in my business. That's the way you should be doing. So out of that qualification, you are getting the knowledge, but at the same time, you are utilizing that knowledge in implementing at the same time.
I would say you are learning industry standards, what you have learned, how you can apply that particular thing in particular industry.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think it's pretty much a trend even in Australia. Doesn't matter which country you are in, most of the time this is pretty much everybody does. As soon as you finish your degree, you jump into the masters instead of like
getting experience and then
then getting into the masters.
True.
To learning sort of more. Let's say if we talk about Australian education system, right? What do you think need to be changed, or what you could redesign in Australian education system, which you think we are lacking?
Oh man, a lot. Actually, this, when I say a lot, it's we are governed by ESQA, so that's our regulator, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know whether till what extent you know that we can't design our own course structure. It's been given to us.
Okay.
So it's a platform called TGA. So there's a qualification, and qualifications has number of units, and each and every unit has its own performance criteria, elements, knowledge evidences, performance evidences, range of conditions. So this is already stipulated, prescribed. Now what we need to do, we need to design our courses accordingly, and we need to deliver. We deliver, and we need to assess as per the unit of competency requirement.
Right.
So we can, even though we can select number of electives, but we are very limited on how we want to teach. And that's why we have this Micro Skills Academy, where we teach outside what needs to be taught.
Done.
Now, when we come back to this, so this unit of competencies, now when it comes to choosing those particular unit of competencies within a qualification, there's a unit called Interact with Computing Technology. You must have, I don't know whether you remember that. So this is still in the training package. This has been introduced in 1995.
Right. Okay.
Interact with computing technology. The assessment is, you know how to turn on a computer. Can you send an email? Can you open a Word file? Can you open a PDF? Can you open a PowerPoint? Do you think that is it relevant in today's day and age to teach?
Definitely not. Not at all.
Yeah.
Pretty much like 7-year-old kid knows it, how to turn on a computer.
So when I say this, and again, there are other applications in that unit of competency as well, but everything, when I look at that unit of competency, I don't see that it is relevant in today's day and age. Another great example is that there's a qualification on pattern making. So pattern making is within Foundry technology. So patterns nowadays getting made on CNC routers, mostly. There are very handful places left in Australia who still works on handmade patterns.
Right.
Now, how many units do we have in our training package to teach kid within that training package to teach that kid the CNC skills? Not even single unit.
That's surprising.
Yes. So I mean, as an educator, I got really great respect for this industry as well. So at the same time, we keep raising our voice.
Concerns.
We are keep concerns, and with the department, with GSCs, and look, the department actually started listening. So there's an inform going on where they are changing these sort of units nowadays as well,
which is actually a great thing if they started changing it.
Yes,
because otherwise, like, it's same what we are discussing earlier. So getting a theoretical knowledge doesn't mean you are job ready.
Yep,
right.
Absolutely.
Actually, another thing which comes to my mind while talking about this, so getting a job is one of the things after you finish your studies, right? And the 101%, you are not job ready just by passing your exam or getting a certification. Do you think, as a normal person, doesn't matter which industry you are studying for, you should go for the internship first instead of start finding a job straight away and getting like demotivated or discouraged that I have done my studies and I'm not getting any job.
No, absolutely, Rohit. 100%. I agree. And this has started being implemented throughout. Okay. So if you look at today's higher education qualifications as well, they have internship pathways.
Yeah.
I was speaking with Filipino universities, Indian universities. They're all having internship programs now embedded within the bachelor's or master's programs.
Definitely for bachelors, like I would say IT and all that kind of fields, it is. But talking about, let's say, fabrication trade.
Yes.
I don't think so. Even up here, we have that kind of arrangements that you must do internships.
With us, there is.
It's just with you, or now look, it has become an industry standard. Every college have to send their students for internship.
Not industry standard.
It's just with you guys.
Yeah, not just with us. We have seen, I don't know whether people started following us or that, okay. But if someone is doing graduate diploma of engineering with us, they have to go for 400 hours of work placement. Regardless, they have to enable to get the qualification.
Gotcha.
If they're doing certificate 4 in engineering, which is like fabrication or mechanical trade, they still need to do 360 hours of work placement.
Right. So those kind of work placements are usually arranged by uni, or like students have to do it on their own?
Now, both ways. So if students are employed in that particular industry, they can utilize that employment as part of their work placements. But if not, then we have a great list of our trusted employers where we can send those students to work placements.
Because I remember after finishing the study, when I actually went to first day at my job, like I was totally blank. Okay,
what to do?
I have learned it, how to use the tools, but
exactly.
Okay, just a welding, I know it. But how to actually use it in a manner, or what you need to do as a job.
And this is absolutely right, Rohit, because in educational institutes, it's a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
There are very less which can go wrong. You've been supervised, you've been given a hand. In job, each and every workplace is different. Hazards are different.
Totally.
How you look for those sort of risks, how you mitigate those sort of risks are completely different.
And what do you think, like, as a career-wise, right? What is massively underrated career option, but could become extremely valuable in future?
I can think of few. To start with, like, one of the underrated occupation, if we talk about, it's textile engineering, textile mechanics, which government started pushing, like Australian government started investing in that. So when we say textile engineering or textile manufacturing, like not manufacturing, mechanics, so this particular occupation encompasses not only, like when we say textile, people usually think normal clothings. It's not normal clothing. So when it comes to, like, there's big aspect of defense forces there.
Okay.
What are some of the those sort of textile materials would help defense forces in different applications? Like, you can just imagine how many places textile being used.
Yeah.
In what are different forms.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. So people never looked at that, like, that profession as that. Another one is reliability engineers. So reliability engineers are often, you will find, on mining sites, or they are getting more and more these sort of jobs getting more and more created within manufacturing and preventive maintenance. So again, reliability engineers is at the moment no one is talking about, because this is not under the radar. Like, people are crying out for reliability engineers, but there's no specific occupation outcome from any qualification. So so reliability engineers are generally comes from mechanical backgrounds.
Okay.
But they're not being trained on that preventive or reliability maintenance skill set.
Right.
So again, the government is another insight is government is OSMASA. OSMASA is a government body which is designing this qualification as we speak.
So there will be a new qualification
exactly
on its own.
Exactly. Another one is your data center engineers. So data center engineers are not normal engineers. So data centers like NextDC, you must have heard. I visited one of their facilities. So these facilities are bomb-proof, flood-proof, and instead of normal fire extinguisher protocols, they have argon gases running there, and if, just in case of fire, and they have continuous temperature monitoring within the data centers. So if there's a slight change in temperature, it
maintains
it comes in action, and it just diminish any potential hazards.
Right.
So these sort of roles, which are emerging roles, as I said, and they could play a very big role in future.
With the data centers, like I recently heard a news, right? I'm not sure it's true or it's just a made up news. So wherever they are opening data centers, especially in USA, they have seen like people are getting sick who are living around the data centers. Do you have any knowledge on that particular topic? As you mentioned, like you've been to one of the data centers they are building. So you
definitely these are really big powerhouses.
Yeah,
they consume a lot of power. There are a lot of systems which you won't see in normal industries.
Mm-hmm.
But having those sort of risks which we are talking about, I'm unaware of. Like I haven't heard or I haven't read. There could be that, because that, like when you told me this, I just started thinking, yes, because it's so much electricity dense, and so many cooling systems, so many systems are there which you won't find in normal industry. So could be like, and I'm happy to know if you find this. Like, please.
I'm still researching on that.
Yeah,
I recently heard that news.
Good to know. Yeah.
Because I always try, like, especially from the day AI came in. So I was always curious, like, definitely it's giving a benefit, right? What's the side effects it's giving to anyone?
Yeah.
Especially a data center. Like, every country is talking about data centers now, right? As we are discussing, like even Australia is setting up a few data centers, and definitely it'll create once-off jobs plus ongoing jobs as well. From that point of view, it is good. But what happens with the people who are working all the time there, right? So the person who have built a data center and moved on, right? A person who is going there every day in that particular environment, how his body gonna react to that environment?
Yeah,
that's one of the, I think, studies might get conducted soon. I'm not sure, but the study, like a recent news I have read somewhere, so that's from USA.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm still like researching on it and trying to find more information on it.
Definitely. Look, EPA here is quite active. So I think in Australia, whenever they do these sort of projects, they must have conducted something. But having said that, no one must have thought about underlying risks or long-term effects.
So before you opened this business, did you run any business, or this is the first business you have got into?
I started a business which was a big fail.
Okay. Right. Let's talk about that.
So I tried to start a marketplace. Actually, it's called Shubstar. Shubstar. SHOOBSTAR. Shubstar. So Shubstar, we thought that we can have some designer clothing there, and we can able to sell designer clothings. So there's a huge market in Brunswick. wholesalers, I would say. So we visited them, and I did everything. The planning was there and everything was there. But when we got to the nitty gritty of the business, that we thought, all right, we were able to sell this, we were able to sell that. It was good. The market analysis was there. But the one point which I missed completely was the minimum orders from the wholesalers. So if you want to put a dress, if you want to sell a dress, and if you want to get that dress from the wholesaler and want to keep in your inventory, you need to order one size 6, two size 8, two size 10, two size 12, and one size 14. In one color, in one style.
That's the minimum order you need.
Exactly. So just imagine just a style, and then you have color variations.
That's separate.
That's separate.
Yeah.
So when we looked at that, and we thought to ourselves, what sort of money we need to invest. And luckily, at that time, I had a really good discussion with someone who used to work in Meyer. And I did ask him. I said, "Look, is this true?" And he said, "Yeah, that's true." And I said, "All right, then, how you get rid of those sizes which don't usually sell?" And what he told me was just enlightened me and surprised me from that industry, is that, Sam, if you see our warehouses, you won't even believe the amount of dead stock sitting there. That's one of the biggest challenge with clothing lines, the dead stock or the stock which you might not be able to sell. And as we were just only starting out, we had to reevaluate everything, and then we decided not to go ahead.
Backing off that particular point, which is actually a good idea, which you have already discovered, and even after that you have decided to move on, is a different challenge anyways you come to.
Because sometimes things looks lucrative. You look at your people around you and you just been enticed. Look, he's living a really good life. He's running that business. Let's get into that business. It's very easy to fall into that trap. But then you might have missed the challenges which that person might have faced, or what he been gone through. And so, look, at the early stages, and I completely happy to admit that happened with us as well. A friend of ours, he used to do this clothing line business, and we got intrigued and we thought, let's start this business. But then we realized that it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Definitely. So any biggest lesson you have learned from failure, right? You thought you failed at that particular business. What's the biggest lesson you have taken from there as an entrepreneur?
So I think the biggest lesson is that if you want to take a very calculated bet, or very business is risk anyway, but if you still want to be constrained so many things from the risk factors, I think if you work in your skill set, the chances of you getting to that failure point, or not getting succeeded, it's very minimal.
Let's talk about a mindset, right? What do you think, how important a mindset while building a business during uncertain times?
I think it's each and every entrepreneur, whoever starts, one quality which I see in everyone, they are resilient. Resilience is something which has to be there. Mindset, when it comes to mindset, definitely to look at something very optimistically, not avoiding things which they shouldn't be avoiding, but optimistically, and then with resilience, without giving up. I think that's sort of mindset each and every entrepreneur should have.
Right. What do you think in your personal business journey, right? What's the one habit or system that help you scale the business without burning out?
When you like something and you are doing that, it doesn't feel like you are working, first of all. The second is I love, not like, I use the word love, the book from Angela Duckworth called The Grit. It's a beautiful book. So this book is all about the grit, the power of passion and perseverance. So there's a very famous quotation from that book is that enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. To be enthusiastic about something, it's very common.
True.
Let's start this. I'm hitting gym today. Yep, I'm going gym tomorrow. I'm going gym day after tomorrow. But will it last for a year? Depends on how you condition your mind.
True. Okay.
So, I mean, definitely, if you like something and you have this passion and perseverance, everything feels like you're not like we are sitting here on Saturday, even we are sitting here on Sunday. I come here, like we operate 7 days, pretty much like with rotating staff. But as a business owner, you might be coming here 7 days.
True.
It doesn't feel like work.
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Like, true. Especially being a business owner, I don't think so. Any business owner can restrict him or herself. Like, okay, I'm just going to work 9 to 5 and that's it. I'm going to build a business. You can't make it. Especially initially, I would say 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, depending upon business type. You might end up giving 7 days, right?
Definitely. And Rohit, not only that, like you paying a price for your freedom. When you have to take holidays or when you have to dedicate some time for yourself, you don't have to ask anyone. You can take your time off. You can go and you can do things what you like. That's the price you're paying for your pretty much for your freedom. Like you're working here 7 days, but you might have Monday off, which is highly unlikely if you are in in a job.
It's basically you suffer now or later.
Absolutely.
It's your personal choice. So what advice you can give anyone who is trying to build a successful business in Australia itself?
Adapt, learn how business works here. Business fundamentals remains the same, but how we operate business it's a bit different. It comes with a lot of integrity. Like if you want to build a successful and good business, I mean there are some clear fundamentals you have to fulfill, to abide with. So with new migrants, first of all, definitely they need to familiarize themselves with with the whole structure. And one and foremost thing I will give advice to anyone is, and I have done it personally myself, be financially literate. If you don't know how to manage finances or how to look into those sort of tax brackets, how to structure things which will benefit you in long term from a business owner point of view, you might be losing out on your hard-earned cash.
Any particular tip you can give on that particular topic, what you just said?
So when it comes to, for example, we didn't know what is a payroll tax.
Okay.
So when it comes to payroll taxes, that how I look at it, and I still laugh by saying this, that everyone is talking about creating more job opportunities for everyone. And when someone is creating job opportunities and they're paying more than a certain threshold, government is taxing you more than other businesses.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a payroll tax. So if your payroll goes above to
certain numbers,
1 million last year was something else, and this year it's some figure around $1 million. Okay. If you pay above that, then you will be paying payroll tax, which is an additional 5% on top of whatever you paid over that threshold. Okay. Which is, I mean, creating more jobs sounds more counterintuitive when you're talking about saving money. So what happens as a shareholder, rather than drawing a salary, you just take dividend, reduce that. Right. To reduce that, payroll tax bracket.
Good point. Actually, even I never read about payroll tax yet. So that's one of the things. Personally, I will look into it.
Yeah, no, certainly.
What success means to you in next 10 years?
So my eventual goal, and this is quite frank with you, Rohit, this is like I started a journey, and still I have really high regard for engineering industry and what I'm doing here. But eventually doing the same thing, but from an investor point of view, more than an employee point of view. So I want to invest more in technology or innovations, which is happening around at tech or in engineering, to create wealth that way. So I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki. I read his book like Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Cash Flow Quadrants. So which is highly embedded in my mind that this is how I want to structure my life.
Fair enough. So let's move towards the last phase. They will be rapid questions, right? I just want you to answer possibly in single word if possible, or maximum in one sentence.
Try to.
I don't want to keep it too long, right? So the first one business trend people should pay attention right now.
Data center engineers or reliability engineers.
And one skill everybody should learn before 2030.
How to navigate or work with different agentic AIs.
And degree or practical experience.
Practical experience.
One business mistake founder repeat too often.
I can only tell mine one, which is not trusting people early enough.
And what's the most dangerous, fear of failure or fear of change?
Fear of change.
Why?
You can't learn how to drive a car without putting that car on the road in drive mode.
As your young self, one piece of advice that you can give and why?
Look, everyone have a lot of ideas. Start on them, act on them. Don't be a perfectionist. Take action.
Just start. Or in other words, we can say instead of keep thinking, start building.
Start building. Absolutely. Yep.
And I would say thank you so much for giving us your time today. And we wish you luck. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Rohit. It was lovely to be here with you. Definitely I have learned few things which I wasn't even aware of, and happy to keep that conversation going even out of this podcast.
Definitely. Thank you so much for watching this episode till end. Big thanks to Sam for sharing his valuable insights. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may find it valuable. More founder conversations and real business insights are coming soon. See you in the next episode.